Your host has spent decades studying the Bible in the original languages. He holds degrees from the University of Wisconsin, Moody Bible Institute, Asbury Theological Seminary, and Bethel Theological Seminary. With the help of some of his friends, in 1994, Dr. Rako founded a national volunteer ministry to hunters. He is an author, dog trainer, and speaker. Tom served as a full-time pastor for 36 years. Now here is your host, Dr. Tom Rako.
Thanks for joining us here on the Rock Dove Publications Quill. During today's program, I'll be sharing an entry I wrote included in the Devotions for Bird Hunters book titled False Pointing. I'll also be sharing an article titled One-Eyed that's included in the Devotions for Hunters and Anglers book. I hope that you enjoy today's program. This entry is from Devotions for Bird Hunters I wrote a number of years ago, titled False Pointing. There's something special about watching a pointer quartering back and forth into the wind, but it's even more spectacular to see that same dog go on point and suddenly turn into a living statue. However, sometimes a dog will false point. That is to say, a dog will go on point because it caught a whiff of a bird or saw something that looked like a bird, but no bird is present. Sometimes we as Christians also do some false pointing. We may interpret some little event or an open door as evidence of God's will for our life, but it ends up not working out. Those looking at our lives when this happens may be inclined to doubt God. However, the problem is not with God, but with our impatience and desire to walk by sight rather than by faith. Jesus told some religious leaders who were asking him for a sign, "A wicked and adulterous generation looks for a miraculous sign, but none will be given it except the sign of Jonah," Matthew chapter 16, verse 4a. The resurrection of Christ became a powerful sign to that generation and still is today. And although God still performs miracles when he so chooses, he desires and even requires for us to walk by faith. We are to trust him even when there may be few, if any, visible proofs of his presence. As Paul told the Christians at Corinth, we live by faith, not by sight, 2 Corinthians 5:7. Again, as the writer of Hebrews stated, without faith it is impossible to please God, Hebrews 11:6a. Let's be careful not to false point. Rather, let us choose to continue to walk by faith. When we come back, we'll be looking at an article I wrote many years ago about something that took place when I was a young boy, titled One-Eyed.
Devotions for Bird Hunters, edited by Dr. Tom Rako, is a unique collection of devotions that are written by and for bird hunters. Selections include Lessons from a Bird Dog, Dead Cow Blues, When Life Throws You a Load of Buckshot, Crossing Jordan, Turkey Seasons, and much more. Whether one's passion is quail hunting in the south, pheasant hunting in the north, or calling gobblers in the spring, Devotions for Bird Hunters will prove to be an inspiration. Devotions for Bird Hunters contains a collection of 25 devotional entries by 8 different authors. Each devotional entry begins with a suggested Bible reading, tells a true story or experience, and then concludes with a brief prayer. And yet the book itself is small enough to carry in your hunting jacket. To order your copy of Devotions for Bird Hunters, go to the Rock Dove Publications website, rockdove.com. Be sure and visit rockdove.com today.
After the mishap, we found him laying alone in a dark haymow. Although it took place well over half a century ago, I still remember the instant my dad shined the light on his face. Through the darkness, a single eye reflected back, and where the other eye should have been, blood glistened from an empty socket. Indeed, by human standards, he was handicapped. Furthermore, besides having an untraceable family tree, he was also given a rather bland name which was virtually void of creativity. Nevertheless, he sure knew how to hunt. Yes, Rover, my one-eyed collie cross who lost his left eye after being hit by a car, was quite a squirrel dog. Now, admittedly, for many the thought of a fresh squirrel pie might not conjure up much of an appetite. After all, someone might ask, isn't a squirrel really a member of the rodent family? Even so, in the hardwood-covered hills where I grew up, eating squirrel was much more than a treat or tradition. It was a lifestyle. A good squirrel dog was truly appreciated, and Rover was a good squirrel dog. Mick, my older teenage brother, who would later be killed in a car accident, came to the conclusion that the key to Rover's hunting success had to do with his having only one eye. He figured having only one eye prevented him from being distracted by anything else. In hindsight, I think my brother was right. When it came to chasing squirrels, Rover knew how to focus. The fact is, we all focus on something. We either live for the glory, gusto, or gold of this world, which is guaranteed to pass away, or, as the Apostle Paul explained to the Christians in Corinth, we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. 2 Corinthians 4:18. In the Bible, eyes are frequently viewed as instruments that either determine or reveal a person's true moral direction and character. No doubt about it, where our physical and spiritual eyes are focused can make all the difference. Jesus warned his listeners, if your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. Matthew 5:29. And again, Jesus stated, your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eyes are good, your whole body also is full of light. But when they are bad, your body also is full of darkness. Luke 11:34. Yes, God holds us responsible for what we focus on. If a one-eyed dog named Rover can keep his focus when chasing squirrels, we should also have enough foresight to keep our eyes fixed on the Lord. As the writer of the book of Hebrews charged the Jewish believers of his day, let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2. Well, when we come back, I'll have some closing remarks.
Dr. Tom Rako has pulled together 60 hunting and angling devotionals. Every entry has a selected Bible passage to read and a story or personal experience tied into the scriptural point. Some of the titles for entries found in devotions for hunters and anglers include Buck Fever, The Antlered Doe, Catfish Corner, Barnyard Buck, Rabbit Hunt Romance, The Prodigal Pooch, A Case of Pheasant Forensics, Once in a Lifetime Moose Hunt, and Grin and Bear It. You don't have to hunt or fish to enjoy this book. It's a great read for anyone, young or old. To order your copy of Devotions for Hunters and Anglers by Dr. Tom Rako, go to the Rock Dove Publications website, rockdove.com. Visit rockdove.com today.
You know, the eye is complex. It's fascinating. Don't you find it interesting that you see what you're looking for? For example, what I've noticed is in the fall, I'm looking for pheasants, looking for deer. And in the springtime, I'm looking for turkeys. And it depends on what you're looking for. And you direct your eye, your focus, and sometimes you block out other things. Well, we are to be focused upon those things that are unseen, upon the eternal things, the things that really matter. The things of this life are also temporary. They are passing away. Peter told his readers, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought we to be? There's coming a time when there will be a new heavens and a new earth, and these former things are going to be passed away. So if we are focused upon these temporary things, we're focused upon the wrong things. But if we're focused upon the Lord, we're focused upon the things that bring honor to God and pleasure to Him, we're focused upon the eternal things. And I want to encourage you, I still remember Rover. Rover was my first dog. And boy, I still miss that dog. He was just a mutt. And yet, what a tremendous squirrel dog he was, despite having one eye. In fact, maybe he was a great squirrel dog. Squirrel dogs run by sight, not by scent. And he focused upon the squirrels, and he was fun to hunt with in those Wisconsin hills. Well, thanks so much for joining us here on the Rock Dove Publications Quill, and I hope that you'll join us again next time.
You've been listening to the Rock Dove Publications podcast with your host, Dr. Tom Rako. This program has also been brought to you by the Quilted Arrow, home of intelligent, stylish, field-bred English pointers with bloodline streams from Hall of Fame champion Guardrail. Thank you so much for listening. Now, this is Beth Rako inviting you to join us again next time on the Rock Dove Publications podcast.